I'm thinking about how important it is to make beautiful. And I think about that a lot because, no one in this room or in this lodge, we all know how ugly things can be. And there's certainly a lot of cruelty and ugly in this world. And every day you have this opportunity to make beautiful. And that's a lot of what I subscribe to, and try to do that in every way you can. We are all, I'm sure that you're perfect, but I'm not perfect, and so I get crabby or something. I'm trying to work on all of those things, on how we treat each other, how we, treat our world. But I noticed that over the past year, I spent a lot of my time fighting stupid projects, and I just think about how people, resist really stupid ideas. And I've spent most of my life doing that. And in part of that, it takes, I don't want to say it takes a toll on you looking at the brutality. And part of the balance is, of course, is making beautiful. And then the other part of the balance is making what the future is. Do you miss a wabendaming? What do we want for our future? Because you don't want to, I'm someone that, I spend a lot of time saying why that is a bad idea. But what I really want to do is work to making the good idea. Making the thing that is beautiful that we want to see. I've seen, probably as here, I've seen a lot of things come home, which is how you make beautiful. We used to have 13 drums, big drums, on our reservation. We have 7 back. Isn't that great?
That's great.
So it's part of this recovering your beauty that I've seen in my life. I worked for many years on land issues. We founded an organization called the White Earth Land Recovery Project after we've fought to try to get some just legislation to return land to our people. And then we got 10,000 acres back, but we didn't really get much justice. And so we formed this organization, White Earth Land Recovery Project, and we purchased land, or people donated land to us. And so about 1,400 acres of land. And on that, organic farms, maple syruping operations, wild rice processing facility, and a school. We bought a former elementary school. I just like how it is in our northern communities because, they always, want to take things from Native people, but when we want them back, they're like, well, why do you want it back? I was thinking, well, is that really your business, They're like, well, they had this kind of little uproar there. I was like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Start I'm gonna open a casino. I'm gonna that's ridiculous. It's like that, they were like, what do you want to do about it? They were trying to give me all this stuff. But so there we have a food processing facility and the first independent radio station, tribal radio station in Minnesota, which is called KKWE, Niji Radio. And a lot of it I modeled after OJB as the idea when we started it. And so, I guess what I'm saying is a little of our history, we look at what's out there and we see that our lot is not good. And, you could wait for someone to fix it. That's probably not going to happen, in my experience. No one is going to fix it, except for ourselves. And, at some point here, over the last, 30 years of probably way too much television and way too much shopping and way too much, self medication with whatever it is, which is a lot of people for sure. Yeah. We became pretty timid too. And I think that a lot of us relinquished a lot of our own personal ability to control our destiny. And I'm not even talking about the opioid epidemic. I'm talking about before that, where we became people that expected someone else was going to fix it for us. And we became people. I remember the first time we bought land up there on White Earth and bought some land and And then we put up, oh, what'd we do? We fenced it. We had it fenced. This power company was putting up a substation, and we asked them not to put it up next to this Miigwetch grave, cemetery. And they put a split rail fence around that cemetery for us. And that substation was a little way. It was like a little, you know what I'm saying, for like electrical stuff, right? And I remember this one guy come to me. This one guy from my res came to me and he said, "How'd you do that?" He said, "Did you ask the tribal council?" I said, "No." He said, "Did you ask the BIA?" I said, "No." He said, "How'd you do that?" He said, and I said, "Well, that one old guy, Pete Saylor is his name, passed away." He said, "He asked me to do it, so we just went and figured out how to do it." But that whole idea that we got to be these people that had to ask permission to live, y'all know what I'm saying? Yes. Oh. Like ask permission to like do this or do that, do this and do that. And that, I'm just saying that that's part of what's happened in my community. And I think my community is probably like a lot of other communities. Like you feel like you relinquish your power. We relinquish our power. And I think that, what I've seen is that when you take back your power, you have this opportunity to be really beautiful. And I like to see that. I like to see that. And, everyone here has, taken back some of that, which maybe we gave away or we're just like insecure, or, really, just relinquished, but we took it back. So, I have faith in that process. I've seen what happened in my own community when we start that. And then, when people see that you do that, then they kind of give themselves permission, which is what we have to do those things. Give ourselves permission to be beautiful. Give ourselves permission to not only remember our songs and our ceremonies, but give ourselves permission to envision what our future is going to be. Envision that. Who is going to envision where we are going? Who is going to envision that? Who is going to, say, 50 years from now, this is what my village is going to look like. This is where our water will come from, right? This is where our food will come from. This is what we will be eating. This is what we will be thinking, right? This is what our schools, or how we will educate and raise leaders. This is what our economy is going to look like. And this is how we're going to treat each other. So I think about that a lot, and that's what we're trying to do in my community. But I think about that because I really want us all to be thinking about where we're going. Everybody in here deals with, we all know, I've raised 7 children, and I have to say new ones show up. And I bet a lot of other moms and aunties have the same thing. I have a house full of 18-year-old boys. And a lot of them do not have mothers. Opioid. Everybody here knows this story. And they are just beautiful young men that want hope. And they want to do something, and they have a right to do something beautiful. And to be those beautiful people. And so, I spend a lot of time just making sure that that's happening. So I'll tell you a couple stories about that, and then, but that is what I think is that we get caught in the present crisis. Everybody here, like I'm easy to get caught in that, and then and our girlfriends got to unload all their bags on us. I'm like, you let that go, girl. You know what I'm saying is that there's a lot of like continuous lateral stuff and drama. Oh my God, so much drama. And but I think our goal has to be beautiful, and think where we're going and not caught in the drama. Like while we have to help our sisters heal, and our communities heal, we don't want to be in a constant drama, right? Yeah. But you can only do your best, and you got to pray really hard, to have the right decisions, and then also like in your behavior. I was thinking about how a lot of you've been around a while, you know, and certainly my relative Eddie there, you know, is this story about how, you know, I used to observe sometimes that the AIM leadership, I felt like that they didn't really raise leaders. And I remember seeing, and I'm thinking like, you know, that I wish that those guys would raise that next generation of young guys to speak, or to be in front of the microphone, or to be, right? And so I was, you know, thinking about it, because I think that as women, we raise leaders. That's what we have to do. You know, and thinking about young women in my organization. I was at a meeting here a few days ago, and one of my staff pointed out that I also need to be careful to not be too critical of those young women. You know, I'm always holding them to a really high standard, you know, because I was held to a pretty high standard. But they're like, no, you got to make sure that they know that they have that permission to speak. And they have that courage, and they take that. Because I don't want to make the same mistakes of not raising this next generation of leaders, and whoever they are. But we have to provide that leadership, because people have not given themselves permission. And people are afraid. And a lot of people just drink way too much Kool-Aid. Right? Y'all know what I'm saying, right? Including our own people. And some of us have to say, this is where I think we're going. Some of us got to stick our necks out and do that. And if we, you know, I'm like so ready for the next economy. This last one did not work out well for us, right? And so we could go like this, like my Randy Zortman did, or we could say, this is what we're doing. And what I know is like my tribe, we're on the cutting edge of this hemp industry. And while my rural local utility will not put up any solar this year, my tribe's going to put up 200 kilowatts, right? And we're going to build a solar thermal panel in a manufacturing facility. And then I'm going to build a hemp mill. That's what we're going to do, because, you know, just like Mary Ellen said, is you got one dream, you know? And what I also know is that a lot of people, like, I would say a lot of rich people too. I mean, like, we're funded largely by 1%. You know, and on one hand, a lot of these people have divested from fossil fuels because they can see the planet is baking. And we have catastrophes of biblical proportions going on. And what they want to do is they want to invest in the next economy. You know, and so to the extent that we need that capitalized, we need to have that vision on where we're going. But what I know about the next economy is many things. Is I know my friend Philip Whiteman, my Cheyenne sister, you should probably know Philip Whiteman. He's visiting with me in New York, and he just like, you know, we have this, like, I don't know, he just like comes up to me with like, has like some profound thing he's been waiting to tell me. He said, this economy is about competition. The next economy is about cooperation. You know, and that's what we need to do as Anishinaabe people, or as all of us. But my point is that for my community and for them young guys I hang with, like, to know that we have someplace we can go that is full of hope, that is not the same. You know, and I see these guys out there in the field, and you know, I'm proud. I'm proud to work with them, and I'm proud that you know, because I can have all the ideas in the world, but if you don't put your manao, or your heart and your back into it, you know, your prayers, and if you don't have like y'all gotta do it together, mama. That's how you make those things happen. So that's kind of what I want to say. I'm so happy to be here with y'all. How you make things beautiful. So thank you, Miigwetch. Thanks for your time.